This shawl of Tati's is so old. It also has little holes that are beginning to show up. I know she had them for years. This is perhaps nearly 45 years old at least. It says Kashmir Handloom Cooperative Product, and there's something written on it with a ballpoint pen. I think, what does it say? There is some serial number and it's got washed away over time, but I see 140. I think the cost of this shawl, it's a fine woolen shawl, and it says rupees 140. It's very light, but I'm able to read it if I look at it very closely. It's a cold fall afternoon here in Seattle, but it's one of those rare days when the sky is clear and the sun is shining out bright. It's, in fact, not just seeping in through the window, but it has splashed itself all across the carpet and the floor. And I'm sitting here in my sweater with a cup of piping hot chai in hand and Tati's shawl. Come December, and this shawl used to come out. Well, we grew up in Bombay, and December was winter. But having lived in Seattle now, I would hardly call that winter. But every December for winter, Tati would bring this shawl out, and I would see her occasionally sit wrapping this around herself. This was also the shawl that she brought along when we went on holidays to colder places. We all have some kind of winter rituals, don't we? Well, it's not winter as yet, it's still fall. And I can see that fall rituals are all around me. And at this time of the year especially, with Thanksgiving being celebrated all over the United States, the one ritual question that gets asked is, what is it that you are thankful for? And boy, I can't tell you how thankful I feel for this afternoon, for the warmth that I'm sitting in, and for all the sunshine. Because last week, we had a power outage and we ran out of power for nearly 1 week. The Pacific Northwest was hit by what they called as a bomb cyclone. It uprooted and downed many trees and had created quite a havoc. There were nearly 600,000 homes that did not have power. Some of them got restored sooner, but the last ones to get restored were out of power for a week or so. And yes, so that was our situation as well. But you know what? I'm thankful for the outage because it actually gave me the opportunity to think about so many things that I was thankful for. I felt thankful for the fact that despite no power, we were we still managed to sleep well. We layered up and slept under sheets of comforters, but we managed to get sleep. We had a gas fireplace to keep us a little warm in the evenings, which also meant time away from screen, which is a very rare occasion in today's times. We were getting food from outside because we have an electric cooking range, so we could not cook at home, which started getting a little challenging at some point. However, I still felt thankful that we were able to buy food, which a lot of people probably do not have access to. So there were all of these moments that made me reflect and really be thankful for. However, the most amazing thing was reflecting upon how resilient we are as a species, right? Human beings are resilient. And as I was mulling over the fact that I am not able to record, I'm not able to upload this episode, I think in a way I'm glad, because all of the ruminations and the mulling over that happened during the power outage has definitely inspired this episode. And as I was thinking about resilience, I could not help wonder about rituals. And you know what neuroscientists say about rituals and resilience? So neuroscientists and research suggests that rituals help to rewire the brain in such a way that it helps people cope with challenges and setbacks, and thus making those who regularly perform rituals more resilient. Rituals have been studied and continue to be studied by anthropologists, neuroscientists, sociologists, psychologists, and many others. Artists, of course. I just said that neuroscience talks about a strong connection between rituals and resilience. Anthropology defines rituals as a set of actions or behaviors that a group of people regularly perform according to cultural or religious norms. Sociology suggests that the purpose of rituals is to create and reinforce social norms and community bonds. Psychology says that the ritual process can activate areas of the brain that processes emotions and responses and can help people feel more present. When someone asks me to explain ritual to them, the first thing that comes to my mind is discipline, commitment. I would say rituals is a discipline. It's a commitment towards performing repetitive events. Repetitive events that are determined by a fixed set of actions, gestures, even words sometimes, and they always have a sensorial quality to them. Rituals also have a very clear beginning, middle, and end. That's my shortest explanation of what a ritual is. Now, rituals can be individual and they can be collective. Rituals can be familial, which means things practiced by a family and it's mostly within the family. Rituals can also be social or community based, where it is practiced by a group of people with some kind of shared knowledge or shared experience. And these rituals can be personal, they can be cultural, they can be social, they can be political, and they can be religious. Even nature has a way of ritual to it. Seasons about how every year the season changes. It's like a ritual that the nature has. Cultural rituals is what we are mostly familiar with. Things like ceremonies, festivals, rites of passage, all of this constitutes cultural rituals. Personal rituals would be everything from beauty rituals to fitness rituals to sacred spiritual rituals, even functional rituals. Political rituals are, of course, elections, protests, and that which brings together people for celebrating national sentiments. Social rituals have socializing at the core, or socializing or creating a socially shared experience. This could be the socializing hour a company organizes for its employees. It could be a group of friends gathering to read a book together or watch a movie together. And if done regularly, it becomes a social ritual. It could also be shared by people who may not personally know each other, but are brought together through a common experience. For example, sports, right? The supporters of one team, the way they get together in a stadium and cheer for the team, feels like they are one unit, even though they may not personally know each other. So those are social rituals. Talking of religious rituals, which of course centers religion. But the thing about religious rituals is that religious rituals could also be social and cultural. And that also applies to several other areas of ritual, where a social ritual can also be a cultural ritual, where a political ritual can also be social. A personal ritual could be religious, a personal ritual could be cultural. A personal ritual could be informed by a political allegiance. So they're all somewhere interlinked. One of the most common questions that I get asked the moment I say rituals is, oh, do you mean religion? Do you mean religious rituals? Rituals is a whole spectrum, and religion only forms one part of that spectrum. However, it is a very important part of that spectrum, perhaps the most important if you want to understand and study rituals, because religion is one area that has perhaps understood the power of rituals and harnessed it so efficiently that today for most people, religion has become synonymous to rituals. Let's look at 5 qualities of rituals. All rituals have a quality of design, eventness, play, performance, and repetition. There is a very clear structure and flow to it. That's why design. Every ritual is like an event. Like one thing that I said was that all rituals have a beginning, middle, and end. So that is one quality of an event. But also, one prepares towards performing a ritual, like any event. There is also the factor for time and space, which is another quality always associated with any event. Play. This could be in the form of role play through myth making, and world building, or it could be play through objects of ritual. But when we are giving meaning to objects, to idols, to our actions, there is a quality of playfulness to it. Performance. All rituals are performative. Be it those gestures, be it those words, be it those actions, it is a little performance of sorts. Repetition. This is the most important quality of rituals. Rituals become rituals when they are repeated over a period of time. Their frequency, of course, would depend on if they are daily, weekly, monthly, or annual rituals, but they are repetitive. I would love to know what are your rituals this time of the year. I say this time of the year, it could be fall where you are, it could be winter where you are, or maybe you experience neither. But yet, December brings with it a certain end to the year. It's also full of promises for new beginnings, and it's festival time. So wherever you are, I would love to know what are your favorite rituals this time of the year. You can let me know that by leaving a comment.